Grid notes is a note-taking technique focusing on critical reading and analysis. As the name suggests, you use a grid or a table to collect your notes. It's especially useful for report writing, but you can use it to compare source information for any assignment. Grid notes help you to read more quickly and efficiently, organise your notes so you can find them easily, critically analyse source information and look for patterns, plan the assignment structure, use your own words and avoid accidental plagiarism, and save time and reduce stress. You only need two things: a collection of sources, and you also need a spreadsheet or another document or app where you can make a large table. We'll walk through the process of making grid notes to help write the introduction of this research report, investigating the efficacy of online academic skills resources. Those are resources like this video. This research project will compare different types of online resources to each other and also to face-to-face instruction. In step 1, we'll choose the grid headings. Look at your task and think about the information you need from each source. The first heading should be the citation for the source, so you know where the information came from. The other headings depend on your assignment. For this report, we need to know the types of resource, if there's a comparison between resources, and how the materials were delivered. We also need details of the participants, the measure or the test used to evaluate the efficacy of the resources, and what the results were. In step 2, we'll complete the grid. Go through your collection of sources and make notes on the information relating to each grid heading. Don't read each paper in full, instead just focus on finding the information you need. We're interested in the information from the source, not the specific words. For example, the results section of Gorman and Staley 2018 states, there was a statistically significant p equals 0.002 difference between the scores of the two groups, with the online group's scores being higher. The important information here is that scores for the online group were higher than the face-to-face group, so that's all we need to put in our notes. In step 3, we'll summarise and critically analyse the information in your notes to identify patterns. This is also called synthesising source information. Making a summary grid can be really helpful here. For this task, we need to compare the efficacy of different types of online resources, so we'll have 3 new summary headings. Resource type A is more effective than the resource type B, A and B are equally effective, and B is more effective than A. The first comparison is online resources, A, compared to face-to-face classes, B, and then we've got the other comparisons made between resource types in the sources. Go through each source in the main grid of notes and put its citation under the relevant headings. It might fit under one heading, a few headings, or none of your headings. For example, Anderson and May 2010 found that research assignment grades were higher for students who completed the online resources than students who attended the face-to-face class, but they also found that post-test scores were equivalent for the two groups, so this source goes under both headings. In step 4, we'll use the summary grid to plan out the broad structure of the assignment. What are the key points to include? From this example grid, we'll have a paragraph comparing online versus face-to-face, summing up and critically analysing the information in this row of the grid, and then in the next paragraph we'll compare the efficacy of different types of online resources, interactive versus passive, tutorials versus videos, long videos versus short videos. In step 5, we'll use our grid notes to write. Expand out your broad plan into paragraphs. You can check the details in the original sources if you need to, but you should largely be using the information in your notes. Focus on synthesizing points rather than presenting individual source information, and always make sure to cite your sources correctly. For example, a few of our sources found that assignment grades were higher for students using online resources compared to going to in-person classes. We can synthesize this information and cite all the sources together. We don't need to repeat the information for each study individually. When authentic assignments are evaluated through grades or citation analysis, online self-study resources seem to be more effective at supporting writing than face-to-face instruction. Anderson and May 2010, Gorman and Staley 2018, McClure et al. 2011, Merry, Newby and Peng 2012. Add your own critical comments to explain and explore the information in your notes. For example, this may be because students can access online resources whenever they need them during the writing process. Find loads more academic skills resources on the Skills Guides. subjectguides.york.ac.uk/skills.